Hey Eagle Rock kids, I'm Jaguar Jane, and I'm about to take you on a fuzzy, cuddly adventure to meet some of my favorite mammals from all over the world. Let's go! First, we're going to travel to the Andes Mountains in South America. We're going to start here in California and go all the way down here. Now, the Andes Mountains are cold, so you need to pack your warm coat. And the animal we're going to find there, it's got a warm coat of its own. Say hello to Dexter the chinchilla. Now, chinchillas used to roam all over the Andes Mountains, but now they're a bit rare. Now, my friends, you may have noticed Dexter's giant, adorable ears, and those ears are extremely important. Not only can they help him listen for predators and other dangers, but they also help him hear what the other chinchillas are talking about. They may not use words like you and I, but they do communicate with a series of different sounds. They even do something called barking if they don't want you to get too close. He's also got these incredible whiskers. They are so long and so sensitive. So if Dexter is exploring his environment or even a new place, he's going to wiggle his face and his nose, brushing his whiskers over different surfaces. His eyes don't see everything, his ears don't hear everything, his nose doesn't smell everything. But what the rest of him can't sense, his whiskers, they do the trick. Chinchillas are often active when the sun isn't shining so bright. They may be active at night or dawn and dusk before the sun has come up and when it's about to set. With that low light, their eyes can't see everything. Their whiskers can give them a clearer picture. Friends, I don't know if you noticed Dexter's extra long, strong tail, but he's also got these long, strong feet, kind of like a kangaroo or a kangaroo rat. And like those animals, he's pretty great at leaping and jumping. Some say that chinchillas can even jump 5 feet. Since their fur is so dense, they can't take a bath by getting it wet. So other animals may lick themselves all over their body to clean their fur. But a chinchilla can't really do that. And of course they can't take a bath in a puddle of water either. Because their fur, it may not dry, and they could get moldy. Ugh. And imagine being wet and not drying when it's cold. Doesn't sound like a lot of fun. But chinchillas have a solution, just like many animals in the wild. When it's time for them to get clean, to remove the dirt and oils from their fur, they take a dust bath. That's right, they roll in a little bit of fine powder from the rocks in their native habitats, and that powder is like a dry shampoo. It cleans the dirt and oil off of their fur very effectively. Now, Dexter may live with us as an animal ambassador, but he still needs to get his dust bath, and he actually only has to take 2 baths per week. But for him, taking a bath is no chore. Why don't we take a trip to someplace a little warmer? Let's go look in the forest for something small and fuzzy. The wild relatives of my friend, Graham the guinea pig. Wait a second, hold up. This is not a pig, is it? Not at all. Guinea pigs are actually a type of rodent, like squirrels and rats and mice and chinchillas. Though unlike those animals, he doesn't have a tail. But you know, guinea pigs and their wild relatives don't need tails. They're not spending their time climbing up trees and doing balancing acts. They're gonna spend more time close to the ground, finding little cozy places to burrow and rest. And his sharp claws can help him dig around. Just because there aren't any animals that are exactly like pet guinea pigs in the wild doesn't mean their relatives don't have a lot of similarities. I mean, our pet dogs have a lot of similarities with wolves, their wild relatives, right? So Graham may not have as good of camouflage. With these different colors, he might stand out a bit. But one of his colors, if it covered his entire body, would actually give him pretty good camouflage. You see this brown hair here? It's actually a mixture of like blonde and black hairs. This is called a goody coloration. And that would help him blend in really, really well if his entire body had that type of coloration. My friends, Graham may not have the long whiskers that Dexter, our chinchilla, has, but he still does have whiskers, and they're still very sensitive. They can help him navigate the world along with his eyes, his ears, and his nose. Now, what is he looking for? food for one, and guinea pigs are mostly going to eat plants like their wild relatives. Now they can eat things that we can't eat, different types of grasses, but they also like stuff that you and I probably like too. One of Graham's favorite foods, orange slices. And he does something really adorable when he smells those oranges. He makes the cutest sound. I'm going to teach you how to do it. Maybe you can try it too. It goes, it's really silly, right? But try it. It's so fun, my friends. Like other rodents, guinea pigs have teeth that grow throughout their entire life. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if your teeth grew throughout your entire life? You might have to get them filed down, otherwise they would get too long. Sounds pretty inconvenient. So why then do rodents have long teeth that keep growing? Well, we're pretty sure it has something to do with their diet in the wild. You see, they eat a lot of plants that are fibrous and hard to chew. And some rodents even use their teeth for other things, like chewing on wood. This sort of chewing wears the teeth down. If their teeth didn't continue to grow, they might get worn down so much they would no longer be useful. And the animal could starve. That would be no fun at all. So those continually growing teeth are important. But when you have a pet, it may not have the same access to things it would in the wild. And pets' teeth, if they're meant to, will keep growing as well. So we have to make sure our guinea pigs and other rodent friends have plenty of the right foods, pellets with vitamins, hay to chew on, and some good greens and fruits and veggies. But we also give them wooden toys, safe wood that they can chew on, because if their teeth get too long, that could be a big problem. Next, we're going to meet a cute but often misunderstood animal found all over the world. Say hello to Bruce, the fancy rat. Bruce and his wild relatives, the brown rats, are some of the most fascinating and intelligent creatures. They're very social, just like humans, and they take good care of each other too. They're often found burrowing underground, but they're also incredible climbers. I mean, all you have to do is take a look to see why. First, their feet look a lot more like hands than feet, don't they? They may not have totally opposable thumbs like us, but their hand feet are actually built for climbing. And of course, they can manipulate things with those hands too, like their food. When Bruce finds something yummy to eat, he might grab it with his mouth to take it to a nice safe hiding spot. But when he gets ready to eat, he's going to take both of his front paws and hold that little bit of food and take adorable little bites. Now, rats can eat all kinds of stuff, but we make sure that ours here get a nice healthy diet. So they get pellets that are specially formulated just for rats, they get to nibble on stuff like hay, and they even get little treats. I hear that Bruce really likes blueberries. But it's not just their feet that make them good climbers, but their long, flexible tail gives them incredible balance. Now, you may not know this, but rats have pretty terrible eyesight. But that's okay. They've got so many other ways that they can navigate the world. One, their ears. They've got pretty decent hearing. And not only can they listen for predators and sounds outside of their colony, but they can listen to each other. And rats can make sounds that humans can't even hear, ultrasonic sounds. So it's like they can communicate in their own secret language. He's also got a great nose, and that nose can tell him so much about his environment. But we can't forget his incredible whiskers. Just like our chinchilla friend, rats rely on their whiskers to navigate the world around them. Hypersensitive, these whiskers actually help him see better than his own eyes. Now let's travel far away to the Middle East and look for a tiny little creature that spends its days collecting delicious food. My friends, this is Opie, the long-haired Syrian hamster. She's adorable, isn't she? Now, the word hamster comes from the German word hamstern, and that means to hoard. But you know what? These little cuties hoard for good reason. They are prey animals. If they went out of their burrow every time they got hungry and wanted a nibble, they would be putting themselves in danger. But you know what? They're smarter than that. They know what to do. Opie here will collect lots of food, everything delicious she can find, and hide it in a safe place. I mean, even though she's not in the wild, she still does this in her little habitat. And her wild relatives are pros, just like she is. But how do they get all that food back to their burrow? Many animals can only carry what they can fit in their mouth. In her mouth, it's not that big. But you know what? She's got something special. No, it's not a reusable shopping bag. It's not a cute little hamster backpack. That would be adorable though. She has cheek pouches. Now I want you to try and see how big you can make your cheeks. Here, I'm gonna do it too. They're not very stretchy, but you know what? I'm not a hamster. I don't have stretchy cheek pouches. She does. And these pouches actually go all the way back to her shoulders. And when I say stretchy, I mean stretchy. When she fills her cheeks, they are ginormous. She looks almost like a different animal. Imagine a picture of a cute little chipmunk, cheeks full. You might have seen one of those before. Here's one. Adorable. They've got cheek pouches too. Now those are some full cheeks. My goodness, Opie. Impressive. Oh, and she's going back for more. Wow. That's not even as stretchy as they get. I know for a fact that she can fit a bit more. Now, when her cheeks are full and she can't stretch them anymore, she's going to scurry back to her burrow on all fours. They're pretty fast. And once inside, she will start to get all that food out of her cheeks. She'll use her little hands to push it out and bury it somewhere nice and safe. That's also helpful for if she needs to stay underground for long periods of time, especially if the weather's not too nice or there's not a lot of food for certain periods of time. Now friends, hamsters are rodents related to things like gerbils and rats and mice, but unlike those animals, they do not have long tails. Tails are for balance. They help animals do so much. But you know what? Not having a long tail doesn't hinder her too much. Hamsters in the wild, they spend their life underground. They're not climbing to great heights. They don't need great balance. But even though she doesn't have a long tail for balance, it's actually so short you can't even see it hidden amongst her fur. Even though she doesn't have that long tail, she's actually really good at climbing in the habitat that we've built for her. The bars of the big cage she lives in are like a little ladder, and her little feet grip so well. So actually she can climb if she needs to. Now friends, those little hands come in handy in another way. When she's taking a bath, especially after she's been out and about sniffing and collecting different food, her face might start to feel a little bit messy. So she's gonna lick her little paws, much like a cat does, and give herself a nice little face wash. It's adorable. Many people think rabbits are rodents, but they're not. They're actually in their own group called lagomorphs, along with hares. Now, hares are bigger and stronger and faster, but I think bunny rabbits are a lot cuter. When these bunny rabbits were born just a few months ago, they couldn't hear, they couldn't see, and they didn't have any warm fur of their own. So they spent those first few days hidden under their mom's fur, tucked safely away. But they have grown up fast. By 10 days of age, all rabbits in a litter can see, can hear, and they're fully furred. They're hopping around and exploring outside of the nest as well. They are still drinking mom's milk though, but they're starting to sample some solid food. Now by this age, they're about 3 months old. They're nearly fully grown. They've come a long way in such a short period of time. Of this litter of 4, only one of the rabbits has the natural agouti coloring that's found in the wild. Domesticated rabbits, which are descended from the European rabbit, come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. 2 of the rabbits in this litter even have a little extra hair on top of their head. That's because they're part lion head breed. They get that from mom. And Cinnamon here gets his orange color from dad. Now neither parents are gray, but Thumper is. And Cole is all black just like mom. Just like many other small mammals found in the wild, Pepper Potts here has that beautiful agouti coloring. It's actually blonde hair and black hair and brown hair all mixed together. It makes for really great camouflage. Though he's not blending in too well with the bright green grass here today, but he is enjoying playing in it. Rabbits and hares have long ears, and they're not just there to look cute. You can see the hair on the ears is thin. You can even see the veins and blood vessels. Rabbits use their ears to cool off. They're covered in fur, so when it gets warm, that excess body heat travels to the top of their head and escapes through their ears. Now, not all rabbits burrow, but the wild relatives of these guys are pros. They are masters of their craft. Their determination, their extra strong digging claws, and even their teeth, that's right, their teeth, help them to excavate impressive burrows. And these connections of burrows are called warrens. There could be quite a few rabbits living in one. Even though rabbits aren't rodents like the other animals we've met today, they also have those really cool teeth that keep growing throughout their life. They have a very similar diet to many rodents. Now, Thumper didn't just get his name from the popular movie. Rabbits actually do thump their large back feet. And that's so that they can communicate. They communicate in other ways too. They use body language. They even make some little sounds. You might have noticed that these rabbits have their eyes on the side of their head. It's very different from how our eyes are positioned. But of course, like many other predators, our eyes are in front to give us really good binocular vision. By having both eyes work together, we can see depth. That helps us see things in 3 dimensions and tell where things are. Since rabbits' eyes are positioned on the side of their head, they see a little differently than we do. But for them, seeing perfectly in front of them isn't as important. They aren't hunters. What's more important is being able to see if danger is coming close. Now, of course, they can listen for danger. They might even smell danger. But being able to see it could save their life. Because of the position of their eyes, they can see almost 360 degrees around their head without even having to turn. That's really important if they're out in the wild, out of the safety of their burrow, browsing for delicious things to eat. If they even see a little bit of movement and sense that it's danger, they can very quickly run back and dive into a hole into their burrow and stay safe another day. Because of the foods that rabbits eat, they have to do something a little unconventional. Something a lot of animals in the wild have to do. something I'm glad that you and I do not have to do. You see, the foods they eat, all these plants, they are hard to digest. Now, their bodies are meant for digesting these foods that you and I do not eat, but sometimes they have to do something a little yucky. You see, sometimes they have to eat their food again. That means sometimes they poop and they have to eat it. Rabbits have basically two types of poop. One is round and dry, and that poop, that just goes back into the ground. But they also make something called a cecotroph, and that still has nutrients in it. Still has undigested food that could be important for the rabbit. So they might actually eat these cecotrophs. So no, they don't eat all of their poo, but they might have to eat some of it. Now, like all of the animals we've met today, these rabbits have incredible whiskers. You might have noticed a bit of a theme. A lot of mammals have whiskers, but whiskers are especially important for those animals that either don't have very good eyesight or are often active when it's dark. Now, rabbits don't have terrible eyesight, but in the wild, they are often active when the sun isn't shining bright. And of course, they're also going down into those burrows. They may be great at digging these tunnels and making their homes underground, but they haven't quite figured out how to wire up electricity, so there's no lights down there. It's completely dark. Hey Eagle Rock kids, thank you so much for joining me on this fuzzy, cuddly Pocket Pets adventure. See you next time!